Good morning to my grade 9 students. Welcome to our English class. This week we're going to discuss our week 8 leap and we are still on quarter 3. So this will be our last week for this quarter. So let us read our most essential learning competency or MELC, which is judging the validity of the evidence listened to. So our work plan for today is, of course, as you can see in your leaf or in your module, we'll have introduction, and then we'll be discussing and answering the learning tasks. As part of the development, we're going to have a simulation and assessment part. So let's start with the introduction. Okay, digital era has given way to rapid explosion of information in different media and platforms as it travels as fast as speed of light. As you are confronted to rely your data based on the materials that you've read or listened to, it is an integral part to filter or judge the truthfulness of the material as the online world is infested with millions of fake information or data. So, as readers and viewers, we should be able to identify which are fact and which are just fake. Okay, the following learning tasks that we are going to answer and discuss today will help you evaluate critically the validity of a certain text based on established parameters. Now let us read the conversation between two people. The first one is Juan and the second one is Marites. So let's try to compare where they got their information. So let's start with Juan. This is what Juan said. According to DOH Region 4A Director Paula Paz and Sidionco, a total of 56,821 patients have already recovered from the virus in Calabarzon. There were only 5,521 active cases and currently undergoing treatment in various health facilities in the region as of December 8, 2020. This could also be viewed on their website on ro4a.doh.gov.ph. So let's now read the line or the dialogue of Marites. Marites says, I beg to disagree. I think it is different from the data that were shared to me by one of my friends in social media. There were pictures showing congested room filled with COVID-19 patients. Perhaps this would reach 100,000 if it would be averaged in the number of hospitals in Calabarzon. So, let's try to answer the questions. The first question is, which of the following statement may gain your favor? That of Juan or Marites? State your reason. So, to answer this, we have to look into the sources that Juan and Marites have given in their dialogue. If you will take a look at Juan's line, he says, his information is from the DOH Region 4A Director. Okay, and also the information can be viewed on the website with .gov.ph at the end. While Marites got her information from just one of her friends who posted on social media, and they were just pictures. Um, where were these pictures coming from? It wasn't actually stated. So it's an unsupported information. Now, which of the two statements may gain your favor? Of course, because one stated information and facts from valid sources and reliable sources, one should gain our favor, right? Instead of Marites who just saw pictures, but there are no valid sources from this picture. Plus, it's just posted on social media? Well, there are some information posted on social media that are valid. I'm not saying that all of those that are posted on social media are invalid. It's just that we have to fact check where this information are coming from. Let's proceed to the second one. What are the specific factors that make your chosen statement more valid or reliable? It's simple. It's more valid and reliable because the sources are reliable, and these are really from experts. Alright, so let's proceed to the next. Importance of validity and reliability. As technology has become commercialized and everyone can create and upload various information on internet every day, validity, reliability of those can be compromised and misleading. As we all know, in just one click, we can spread fake information and false information. And not everything that we see on the internet are valid. That's why here are some points that we should take into consideration to check the validity and reliability of information. So the first one is to ask yourself, who is the author of the source? So this question points out the credential of the author. Okay, first question, is the author a recognized expert in the field? Next, are they representing an organization? What kind of organization? Just like in the dialogue of one earlier, he said it's from DOH, Department of Health. And the next one, if so, what is the organization's mission and goals? So we have to know that before believing whether something is true or false. Next, if you're still unsure, try browsing the internet on the author or the organization he or she belongs. So you have to fact check. Is this person speaking, or is the author of what you have just read really is an expert? Okay, so the next question is, how did the source get its information? So now this question refers to the reference used in the source. So how are we going to know this? So first, look at a few of the references. Do they look like reliable sources of information? Does it look like the author is citing the source correctly? So it's you have to use your best judgment in validating. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. The next question is, what if the source you found doesn't have references? So what are we going to do? So this question pertains to further checking the validity of the source. So we have to see if you can fact check the information other ways. For instance, if you're looking at a news article that quotes experts in a field, browse the internet on the expert's name and see what other information you can find about him or her. So that's it. These are the three questions to ask yourself before, of course, believing an information you just found. Okay, so let's have an example. So let's take a look at this example, the dialogue of one earlier. So the author of the source is DOH Region 4A Director, right? So that's reliable. And also the reference is the website of DOH for Region 4A, which is ro4a.doh.gov.ph. So when we determine the source as good, we say that it has validity. Likewise, counter-checking the background of the author and source on the internet would greatly help establish the validity of a certain material. Okay, so let's proceed to the development part. We're going to discuss and to answer the learning task together. Okay, so let's start with the first learning task, and the assigned task to do is to read the news article published by Rappler and then accomplish the following task that is given. So let me read first the news article published by Rappler. So it's entitled Missing Context, 23 million peso Southern Leyte Bridge built without a river. So this was published on September 24, 2020. The time is 5:47 p.m. and in the Philippines. So let me read. The bridge, which was constructed before the term of President Rodrigo Duterte, was built to fix a road that was prone to collapsing. The photo of the bridge in the graphic was uploaded by GMA News show 24 Horas. GMA reported on the bridge in October 2019. GMA's video report on this bridge, dubbed the Buena Vista Slab Bridge, was titled "Tulay na 23 million peso ang halaga, itinayo kahit walang ilog." Or in English, bridge that cost 23 million pesos was constructed even without river. The video cited the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH statement that the bridge was the only way to fix the road, which was prone to collapsing due to the soft soil underneath as well as a creek or waterway in the lower part of the soil. In addition, the railing also served to protect passersby. The GMA report also featured a resident who attested to the way the road would keep collapsing. Rappler also reported on this bridge in 2016. DPWH District Engineer of Southern Leyte, Maria Margarita Juhuina, told Rappler that section of the Bato Bontoc Road had already collapsed about 3 times due to the soil underneath that would dissolve during heavy rains. Thus, they resorted to build a bridge. Rappler also fact-checked supposed photos of the San Benedicto Bridge in Surigao, which turned out to be photos of structures located in other countries. So this was written by Loreben Tuquero of Rappler.com. Now let's try to answer learning task number 1. The statements below are taken from the article that we have just read earlier. So we have to identify by underlining the parts which make the statement valid or reliable. So the number 1 is the video cited the Department of Public Work and Highways or DPWH statement that the bridge was the only way to fix the road, which was prone to collapsing due to soft soil underneath, as well as the creek or waterway in the lower part of the soil. So what makes that statement valid? And that's right. So it's because it's from DPWH. Okay, next one. Number 2. DPWH District Engineer of Southern Leyte, Maria Margarita Junia, told Rappler that a section of the Bato Bontoc Road has already collapsed about 3 times due to the soil underneath that would dissolve during heavy rains. Thus, they resorted to building a bridge. Okay, which state what makes this statement valid? Of course, the first phrase, which was the name of the district engineer of Southern Leyte, DPWH, Maria Margarita Julia. Okay, the number 3, the GMA report also featured a resident who attested to the road would to the way the road would keep collapsing. So what makes this valid? Of course, the GMA report. And last one, Rappler also fact-checked supposed photos of the San Benedicto Bridge in Surigao, which turned out to be the photos of structures located in other countries. So what makes this statement valid and reliable is that Rappler reporter fact check the supposed photos. Okay, so I hope everything's clear about the learning task 1. So we're going to proceed to learning task 2. This time, it's your turn to watch and listen carefully to your chosen news report or a current news report that you will be watching on the television or reading from a newspaper or even viewing from the internet. And so you have to list down the details that you have heard from that news report. So after listening, you have to answer the following questions. The first one is, what is the news all about? The second one, are all the information given by the reporters supported by valid sources? And you have to support your answer. So, did the reporter mention specific organization or specific experts uh, in the news? And then, last one, you have to cite some statement given by the reporter which are supported by valid sources. Okay, so next, let's proceed to the next part, which is the engagement part. So this time, you're going to answer on your own learning task 3. So you have to analyze the infographic on the Calabarzon COVID-19 tracker. So you will write 5 to 10 sentences that could summarize the given data. So you also have to provide source and reference to make your statement valid. So let me discuss first the rubric before I show you the infographic. First is that you will get 5 points for mechanics and grammar if the content contains minimal or no errors in spelling or grammar. The next criteria is the organization. So I get another 5 points if it has logical progression of ideas from the beginning to end, and the strong connection between and among ideas are apparent. And lastly, you'll get another 5 points for the evidence of understanding. So understanding of the topic is excellently executed in the summary by using important information from the infographic. So this is the infographic. Okay, so you have to study that. That is also found in your LEAP. You have to write 5 to 10 sentences about it, and you have to state what makes it valid. Okay, so let's proceed to the next learning task. Learning task 4. So we have to identify whether the following sources are valid or not valid. The first one is hearsays and gossips. So since these are easily spread and um, these are some of them are mostly just rumors, so we say that this source is actually invalid. How about site ending in .gov, just like doh.gov.ph? So that's a valid source. How about sites ending in edu? So these are educational sites, so they are also valid. Number 4, sites ending in .org, or these are organizations, so these are valid sources as well. Number 5, posts from unknown sites like on the internet, social media, other sites that are not reliable. So these are invalid sites. And next one, educational institution and their websites. Of course, these are valid websites, valid sources. Number 7, academic forums. Those are valid sources as well. Rants on social medias. These are mostly expressions of opinions, bias. They could be biased or one-sided. So therefore, these are invalid sources. And last one, not last two, 9, 10, international journals and Google Scholar are actually valid sources. Okay, so I hope everything's clear for learning task 4. Now let's go to the assimilation part where we're going to recall and remember some key points about our discussion today. So it says here, your ability to distinguish valid and reliable source is a foundational skill that is central to developing and analyzing arguments. These are the important points to consider in evaluating the reliability and validity of a source. So all of us should have the skill of being able to check if our sources are valid and reliable before, of course, believing them. And we have to analyze arguments. Alright, so these are again the three things that you have to ask yourself to be able to know whether something is valid or not. First is the author of the source. We have to make sure that the author is an expert. He or she is representing an organization, and the organization has a mission and a goal. Okay, next one. We have to identify the source of the information as well. So we have to know if there is a support for the claim of the author, and if yes, or if just found on the internet, is the website or the domain or the interface trustworthy? Like, is it from .gov, .org, or .edu? And lastly, references and citation. So we have to check if the author provides citation from which his or her claims were taken. So that's those are the key points to remember. Let's proceed to the assessment part. So let's read the following statement about validity and reliability of source, and we're going to state whether the statement is true or false. The first one is, number one, a source that is biased is always unreliable and should be avoided. And the answer there is, of course, true. Next one, a book author must cite studies or other sources to be considered valid and reliable. So that's also correct. There should be references. Reliable newspapers and magazines articles don't have bibliographies. Therefore, they don't have to cite sources to prove their claims. So, reliable newspapers and magazines should always prove their claims by citing where the information is coming from, so this is false. Number four, academic journals are not particular about the credential of the author they publish. That is false. Academic journals, of course, make sure that whatever they publish are facts and truthful information. Number five, information or posts that is viral is always valid and reliable. This is false. Not everything that is viral is true. The next one, famous social media personality is always a good source of reliable and valid information. So what makes this false is that it's not all the time that they are good source of reliable information. So some famous social media personality may also share false information, and we have to judge rightfully whether the information they share is something that we have to believe in. Okay, next. The information is unreliable without source. And of course, that's true. So the information should always be supported with sources. Number eight, a source that is good is valid, and that's true. Number nine, audience is for whom the author intended the paper to be read or viewed. That's true. And number 10, counter-checking the credential of the author or source in the internet is important to verify the validity of the information, and that also is true. So we have to counter-check the credential of the author. Okay, all the time, so that we know if it's a fact or not. Alright, so that ends our lesson for the 8th week. So by next week, we're going to start with quarter 4 already. Again, if you have any questions about our lesson for today, you can just send me a message and I will gladly reply. Okay, see you again next time. Thank you.